I'm not the house of cards that falls down easily. I'm strong enough to handle what you throw at me.
Welcome to Mental Health News Radio. I'm your host, Kristin Sunanta Walker. Just what are we going to discuss? The intimacy that is mental health. Let's continue to make it as comfortable as discussing brain health or heart health. This show has been on the air for several years, and we have amazing co-hosts. And then we created a network of podcasters on mentalhealthnewsradionetwork.com, a place where every possible facet of mental well-being can be talked about openly. My show, after several hundred interviews, the format is this: intimate, deep, funny, touching, sometimes uncomfortable, but always vulnerable conversations with interesting people. The goal is to have you, our listening family, many of you who have become my good friends, feel as though you are listening in on private conversations. Thank you for tuning in and becoming part of this amazing journey with me, and now with our network of podcasters. Just knowing this podcast might be helping any of you realize you are not alone on this journey called being a human being makes doing this podcast worth every second.
After all we promised, we'd be cordial.
Hey everyone, Kristin Sunanta Walker here, and I'm on with Prairie Conlon, our podcaster from the Animal Effect show. Prairie, thanks so much for coming on.
Absolutely. It's always a pleasure to get a talk with you.
So we wanted to do a show, just a quick short show, just before Christmas hits, which is like 3 weeks from now, and talk about how good animals are during the holidays for your mental health. So, Prairie, do you mind sharing what you just shared with me before I hit record?
For sure. I was just saying, not only are they great, but they're a great excuse as well. When things get weird or a little intense, it's just a perfect excuse to say, I think my dog needs a walk.
Yeah, exactly. Now, I'm not going to police my two during this particular recording. I will have to later for other recordings. But if you guys hear things dropping on the ground or gnawing and chewing, that's because my two are, I'm sitting right in front of them.
Yep, I've got two of them at my feet right now, and so hopefully there's like no doorbell or squirrel outside or anything like that, because they will definitely join in.
Absolutely. And, mine are 4 months old and they're Texas healers. So, of course, they need a lot of exercise. And one of the things I'm realizing is I need a fenced-in yard, because I stayed with a friend. Yeah, I stayed with a friend for a couple of days, and just to be, we still go on walks and do all that good stuff, but there's two of them, they're brother and sister, and they just have hours of fun just chasing each other around. So it was so nice to just open my door.
Cute. I've been watching them on your social media. They are absolutely adorable. I almost feel like they should have their own social media, because they're just, who doesn't want to look at puppy pictures?
That's not a bad idea. That would actually be fun for me, because they are absolutely hysterical. They're just hysterical. So anyway, good for my mental health. I always struggle during this time of year. I have seasonal affective disorder, so I always feel really guilty, and I'm anxiety ridden anyway, but then I feel guilty that whatever my pet is not getting enough, attention, enough this, enough that. And the reality is they're fine. They're fine. But these are the things that we can do when when we struggle, especially because of the holidays and this time of year.
Absolutely. That's one of the best things about them, is they give you that motivation that you need to get out and get a little bit of exercise. I think I've said this to you before, but I love the phrase, my dog is better than your gym membership, because honestly, that motivation, especially during the holidays, is just gone. You're like, you know what? It was just Thanksgiving. I overdid it. What's the point? It's just gonna be Christmas coming up. But man, they hear the leash jingle, or they see, you start to walk out and they give you the big brown eyes. It's so much better than a gym membership card sitting there to get you
up and out and walking around.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And the nice thing too is it's, a lot of them really understand if you're struggling. Mine will, they really do get it. They get it if I'm just a little more slow moving than usual. And, and that non-judgmental, they're not sitting there going, oh, she's depressed or anything like that. They're just, they're just being themselves. And I can count how many times during the day I'm smiling, laughing in hysterics over something they've done. And I think, well, what would it be like if they weren't here? Well, that would be missing.
Right. For sure. Yeah. And that's where a lot of times anxiety or depression symptoms really start to accumulate and become overwhelming, is when we have those quiet moments where, we let that rumination just become overwhelming. And so having that filler, a healthy distraction, because it's great for you to laugh at, and it releases endorphins. It's great for you to get up and exercise and all of those things that the animal provides. It's just a great, healthy distraction, because there's a lot of other things we could use to distract ourselves that aren't so healthy.
Right, exactly. So what do you say to, let's say, a patient that you're working with who, they know they've got this coming, they're a little nervous about the holidays, or maybe a lot nervous. What do you say to them around their pets to help them kind of prepare for dealing with the holidays?
Right. So the thing is holiday get-togethers, they're great time to spend with family. But as we know, all the different perspectives kind of pushed and mashed into a room, and high expectations of holidays because we've been watching the Hallmark Channel or seeing these beautiful commercials that can make you cry in 30 seconds. And you're going, oh, I'm going to have that kind of a holiday. And then it never goes that way. Plus, there's a little alcohol usually involved. But simply noticing, okay, there's some stuff going on. I feel myself getting heightened. I'm going to take a quick walk. I'm going to dismiss myself. Or provide a comedic relief by showing off your dog's new trick or something like that. Showing what they do with a toy. Like you said, you're in hysterics watching your dogs, showing off what they're doing. I mean, they can just give enough of a break right in there that you can relieve yourself, because it gets so overwhelming when you're sitting there and saying, oh, this is how I expect it to go. This is what I want it to look like. And then it doesn't go that way. And then it just turns into a nasty cycle of being hard on yourself or guilty because it didn't turn out the way you wanted it to. So just taking a breath, stepping away and taking a breath. And our animals are great for that.
Yeah, they absolutely are. I'm watching my two right now, and they both have the same size bone. This is what I'm talking about with hysterics. They both have the same size bone. They're both capable of chewing their bone, but the minute one of them gets up to go get a drink of water, then the growling begins, because the other one's got to come over and get that bone. And then we start this nightmare that ends, if I don't stop it, it ends with them sounding like they're killing each other. But I've never seen blood drawn.
Oh yeah. Kristin, the last time we talked, I had just obtained that new itty bitty mini schnauzer. She's like 6 pounds. And I have that 100-pound schnauzer and a 15-pound schnauzer. And the little one has just come in, and she is the boss, and she does that same thing with bones, but she will get them. And it's funny too, because the big one, it's like his bone is as big as her. And she will get it, and then she'll go stick things in the corner, and then she will stand there and look at them like, I dare you to come past me and get this bone. I'm like, oh my gosh, you little devil dog. You are so funny, but holy cow, they are hilarious.
They are. And that's another breakup. I noticed that too. I went somewhere for Thanksgiving, and I've not been around family for Thanksgiving for a couple of years, and it's been lovely. And I've said no to all the invitations to other places because I'm like, I don't want my family drama, and I don't want your family drama either. But I said yes I said yes to someone else's family, and sure enough, there was drama, and that's exactly what I did. So listeners, this is what you do. You just, oh, my dog's got to go to the bathroom, or my dog has to go to the bathroom, or if you can't bring your animals with you, I've got to leave because I've got to go check on my dog. I even had somebody say, I've got to leave because I hear fireworks going off, and I'm like, where? And then I got what they were doing. And they said, you know, that's going to freak out my dog. I've got to get home. So they're a great reason to escape if things are getting too heated or uncomfortable.
Absolutely. And then I also, I've developed a technique, and as silly and cliche as it might be, it's kind of off of, I don't know if you've ever heard of the 5 senses exercise, where when you become overwhelmed, it kind of helps to ground you, and you use 5 things you can see, 4 things you can hear, different things like that. Well, I've actually kind of reframed this, and as goofy as it sounds, I just absolutely love it. I'm kind of a dork anyway. So, but I call this the 4 pause method. 4 pause. Okay. And so basically what you do is if you're getting overstimulated again, or just overwhelmed and need a little bit of grounding, this is something you can do in 5 minutes. Take your cat or dog in the other room. And so like the first paw, I always have them is touch. So you notice how the fur feels under your hand. Is the hair soft or is it coarse? And you notice all the little details about it. And then the second paw is sight. So noticing how the light hits the fur as you move your hand around the animal, what they're doing with their ears or their facial expressions, what they're, just kind of what they're doing. The third paw is sound. What do they sound like? Are they making noises? Notice, how their feet sound when they hit the floor. And then the fourth paw is smell. Of course, how we love to lean into our animals and hug them and take in that familiar and comforting smell. And so that's the 4 paw method. It basically brings your attention to your animal just as you would in any kind of a safe place. So if this is your home or somebody else's home, it's a little piece of home and familiar. And it's what we call grounding. And it can help lower your anxiety, but by creating that sense of familiar and safety. And this can also be practiced regularly at home to help create a safe and mindful place for when you need further grounding.
I love that, the 4 paw method. I'm going to use that. If I decide, well, I think where I'm going, I won't need to, but just in case I end up getting stuck somewhere else, I will be carrying around the 4 paw method in my head.
There you go. Your animals love it too. They're like, oh, what are we doing? You're completely focused on me. It's funny. Some, one of my dogs is like, oh, I love this. This is amazing. I'm going to maintain 5 minutes of eye contact with you. And then the other one's like, what are you doing? I'm nervous. Am I in trouble? Why are you looking at me like that?
I'm going to film. I love that you said they should have their own social media. I think I'm actually going to do that. And I'm actually going to film. Jack doesn't care at all about wearing a harness. He just is like, whatever. He's oblivious. And he'll walk on a leash perfect. Layla, when you put a harness on her, it's like you have put her in some sort of vice. She hates it. She doesn't like that there's some clip behind her head that she can't see. So she will literally just crawl on the ground like she's trapped in something. I mean, we'll leave. I'll get all the way to the car and she'll be sitting at the top of the stairs whining because she somehow the harness on her makes it so that she cannot go down the stairs. Completely ridiculous.
Kind of like a cat. I've seen cats do that where they're like, nope.
Yeah, that's what she is. And we've tried the whole just keep wearing it. We did the same thing with diapers, which the great thing is, here's another tip, listeners. If you're trying, when you're trying to potty train your dog, sometimes they hate the diaper so much and they won't go to the bathroom when wearing the diaper. So you can actually put the diaper on them in the house and then still take them out every 2 hours or whatever to go outside to go to the bathroom. And it's sort of a reverse training method. It actually worked with me with these guys. They hate them so much that they won't go to the bathroom in them, hence not in the house. So I end up just reusing the same diaper again and again. It's also cheaper that way too.
Yeah, great tip. Yeah, nobody likes to scrub the carpet. That would not be a fun trick for people breaking it up during holiday season.
Right.
Watch mom
right.
scrub
And
the carpet.
Yeah, I'd got in trouble for that, even though it wasn't their fault at somebody else's house. But last thing I want to talk about for thinking about this for the holidays, there are a lot of places that are so much more lax now. I mean, when I started doing therapy dog work, you had to give your left kidney, your dog had to be on this leash. I mean, even the rules around it have really relaxed in terms of having them be registered. But even there are neighbors that don't get out. Like I've got an elderly gentleman that doesn't get out very much. He's very lonely. You can always go. And even if you feel depressed, I'm telling you, it helps so much. Take your animal and go visit somebody. Call a nursing home and ask them if they mind. I mean, and they may say no, but go visit someone that just really needs it, because you will have an endorphin rush like you will not believe.
Absolutely. You know, that's something that a lot of my clients have finally understood about themselves and experienced as well, that when they share their animal with others, that they get a huge amount of relief and healing themselves. You know, it's great to see other people, you know, enjoy and love something that you do. So absolutely, I love that.
Yeah. And thinking about what you can do, you know, in telling, if you like to write, tell a story about how you get through Christmas with your animals, blog about it, come on and do a podcast about it, share your stories with Prairie about it, and she can talk about them online. I mean, there's so many ways that we can, you know, these creatures give us so much joy. And when we're really struggling, or someone else that, you know, we love is struggling, you can utilize your relationship with your animal as a creative outlet as well.
For sure. You know, I think that, and especially in this season of giving, and, you know, there's so many things that we can do, just acts of kindness that mean more to people than monetary gifts.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think an act of kindness is probably not Jack jumping in someone's face and stabbing them in the eye with his paw, but we're working on that.
He's only a baby. He needs a little time, but he's getting there.
Right. All right. Well, Prairie, thanks so much for coming on and agreeing to do this. I really appreciate it.
Great. Well, it's always great to talk to you.
And listeners, please tune in. You want to listen to a show that's going to make you feel good all the time? Tune in to The Animal Effect on Mental Health News Radio Network.
Sometimes I'm passive-aggressive, but never without good intentions. I heat up and act on my emotions.
Thanks so much for listening to Mental Health News Radio. Our podcast can be found on iTunes, Stitcher, and hundreds of other podcast apps, or you can visit our website at mentalhealthnewsradio.com. If you have a question or would like to be a guest, become a podcaster on our network, or join the amazing organizations that help keep us on the air, please email us at info@mhnrnetwork.com. Get ready for that special goodbye from our resident therapy dog, Miles, and a special thanks to Emily Sohn for letting us use her incredible song, Cordial, for our podcast music. Listen to the full song on SoundCloud at emily.sonne.
Don't be surprised when I don't hate on you. After all, we promised we'd be cordial. Sometimes in you I can fight it, but
Good boy.